fucked up this fork. Look at that.
That is a fucked up fork. Same. I got one. Perfect. There we go. Great start.
Fight fans, welcome back to Karate Combat 39 Fight Week. The weigh-ins have concluded. I'm here with Elijah Everill. Weighed feeling great. What's going through your mind right now?
Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing to be here. Can't wait for the fight on Saturday night. It's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be fireworks. Bit of your background: the greatest American sport karate athlete since Raymond Daniels, one of 7 people to win the Irish Open, and the most recent, given of course global events. What does that mean to you, being one of 7 people to hold that crown?
Well, it's the biggest thing that you can achieve within the sport that we do. Raymond was so dominant for so many years, hence why there's not that many Irish Open Grand Champions. It's an extremely difficult event to win. The toughest guys are there from all over the world, so I'm very happy that I did get the chance to win it before all of the stuff globally happened.
When you think about the trials and tribulations that led up to that Irish Open and then finally getting your hand raised, what were the exact emotions the moment that it was announced that you were the winner?
Well, I actually broke down into tears because it was just years of dedication, sacrifice, hard work, not just from myself, but from the people around me, the people close to me, my family. We've given so much, for that one title, for that moment. It's where you reach the pinnacle of the sport, and I can remember it so well. Just walking back to the line and seeing the clock run down to 0, and I just dropped to my knees, and it was just overbearing amount of emotions. Just a moment I'll never forget.
I love it. Talking about the years that you had in preparation, way back at the beginning, this all started because you were obsessed with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Power Rangers, and that led to the karate training. What were some of the earliest memories that you had of karate?
Well, I can remember the Little Ninjas classes. They were that was the first thing really that we got into was the Little Ninjas classes, where you go and it'd be a class designed all around like building motor skills and just enjoyment purposes, having fun, learning a few cool moves and playing games, things like that, martial arts games. And I just remember going there for the first time and just having an absolute blast, and just stuck with it ever since.
Are you still a big Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers fan?
Not so much, but I suppose it never leaves you. It'll always be a part of my journey.
It's
always.
right. It's right here. They're all right here.
It's in the heart, mate. It's in the heart. Yeah.
I wanted to change the gears from maybe the fictional characters and a real life icon, Kobe Bryant. Now you've been a documented fan of his for a number of years. Where did that start, and what does Kobe Bryant's mindset mean to you?
Yeah, so me and my dad are both huge Kobe fans, and we used to watch a lot of the basketball games. I think must have been like maybe 08, 09, that sort of era when Kobe was playing, and we were watching the Lakers in the playoffs, and he was just single-handedly just destroying people, and really taking over the game. And you could see in his mind how much that he wanted to win. Like, winning meant absolutely everything to him, and that resonates with me obviously in my sport as well. And then I started to follow Kobe more, started to listen to some of his podcasts and the interviews that he'd done at different stages of his career, and I just loved what he was putting out there. And a lot of the stuff hits home, and it's taught me a lot of lessons about myself and my mentality, and how to act as a professional and act as a champion. And I even have his Mamba mentality tattooed on my chest as well. That's how much he's really rubbed off on me. So,
do you remember where you were when it was announced that he had unfortunately passed away?
I can remember being at home and just turning on the news and just being absolutely shocked. And I did shed a tear as well. He's a hero, an absolute icon. And I was at home watching the TV.
A few better people to put on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to talk about some of the hardships that you've had. And one specific story is about how you broke your ankle the first week of the 2015 European Championships in Spain. You went on to fight 11 more times before eventually winning that gold medal, which winning the gold medal in itself is probably an incredible feat. Doing it with a broken ankle has got to be monumentally more difficult.
Yeah. Well, I can remember that week so well. Again, the first fight I actually fought against an Italian opponent, and he was one of the best guys in that division as well. So it was very important for me to get that first win. And I can remember it being maybe 20, 30 seconds left of the second round, I believe, in this 3-round match. So I remember throwing a side kick, and my opponent sort of stepped forward in towards me, and my ankle snapped backwards. and I heard a noise when it happened, and I carried on fighting anyway. And then it was in between the second and the third round when I sat in the chair, and I was like, my ankles are really impaired. Something's not right here. So then in that third round, I had a slender lead. But I managed to just pretend to change my game plan up a little bit in the third round, because obviously I couldn't do certain things with my ankle being as bad as it was. But I managed to get the win narrowly. Yeah. And then at that time, not knowing it was broken, so I was still like trying to walk around on it. And I remember my dad carrying me out of the arena and stuff. And I woke up the next morning, which is when I was supposed to have my next fight and stuff. I woke up and it was just completely black. It was swollen. It was like this, honestly. And my dad just took one look at it and he goes, "Elijah, you're not fighting, mate. Come on, that's broken.
This is health over career moment."
Yeah, we need to get this checked out. And I remember saying to my dad then, he was like, "No." I told him, I was like, "I've got to do this. I have to keep going. If they're going to beat me, then they have to earn it. Every person in that division is going to want me to pull out so they can have the easy route into the next round or the easy route into the final." And I said, if they're going to beat me, then they're going to see me on the mat. If they beat me, they beat me. But they're going to have to, go out there and do it. They're going to have to go out there and do it. And luckily, I managed to get through it.
Keep going and
kept,
get
obviously a lot of painkillers, a lot of numbing cream, but got the job done. And again, it's another lesson that Kobe taught me is, adapting to those things that happen to you, those negative things, those things that you don't expect to happen, and being able to just adapt
and improvise and
overcome.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
what was the reaction of your competitors when they learned that you had broken ankle after you beat them, or was anybody aware that you had a broken ankle?
I think a lot of people didn't know that it was actually broken at the time.
Wow.
Well, I didn't know it was broken at the time, but yeah, they probably didn't think that it was as bad as it was to that extent. Even though they saw me hobbling around and strapping it up and things, they obviously thought there was a problem. Maybe gave them a little bit more confidence or whatever. But it was. I think it was just me really gritting my teeth, being strong, carrying that mental toughness throughout the competition that won me that gold medal. And I'll never quit. I got another ankle. I've got another one. I've got arms.
Are there other instances on the road where you've had something crazy like this happen?
I'd say that's probably the worst injury that I've been able to maintain a performance on and fight with. But there's been a couple of things where I've had like broken bones and stuff before, broken noses, a few concussions, things like that. But it's combat sport. These things happen.
It's part of the process.
It's part of the process. Another funny one though is with that Irish Open Grand Champion win, I actually got taken for a doping test. And obviously, if you've seen the Irish Open, you fight all day. It's not like you have just one fight to get ready for.
Back to back,
it's all day. You're fighting all the way through on the Sunday. You start at 9, you probably won't finish till like 7 because there's that many people in the division. So I was so dehydrated. And then when I'd won it and they called me over for a doping test, obviously it's just taking a very long time to be able to provide the sample. Yeah. And I was over the moon. I was so happy. I wasn't really thinking straight. And the guy who had taken me for the test was like, just keep drinking lots of water. Just keep drinking all these bottles of water. So I did. I was going one after the other, and I wasn't really keeping count of how many bottles I'd actually had. And I ended up with water poisoning, and basically I was internally drowning. Yeah. So I remember like the guy was trying to get me to write my name, and I just said to my dad, I was like, I actually can't write my name right now. Like, Dad, you need to take the pen or whatever and fill this in after I provided the sample finally. But yeah, again, that was another occasion where my dad was carrying me out of there. Different reason this time. But my brain had swelled up. It was like someone was hitting me with a baseball bat. Honestly, it was crazy. The headaches I was having, and then projectile vomit.
Not the night that you wanted after becoming the
absolutely not. Absolutely not. I definitely pictured that being a little bit better of a celebration, but I'll have to win it again another time.
Absolutely. Now you operate on both sides of the coin, though, coaching and training as well. You've done seminars in Austria, Italy, Puerto Rico, many other countries. What's been the favorite place that you've maybe taught?
I would have to say my favourite place I taught was Hawaii because I just absolutely love the beauty there. We've got friends there as well that we met through the martial arts, and they had me over to their school and also their tournament, and they showed me around and just loved the lifestyle, loved the vibes there, and had a blast.
Definitely hard to beat Hawaii.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to beat, yeah, definitely.
Now, outside of the seminars, though, you also launched a new school, BMMA Wellington. How different is it being the head coach, and what are some of the challenges of balancing that with competition?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very lucky because I have such a supportive team around me as well. I've got a great team of coaches now that are coming through, and also my business partner Lee, who's actually my first instructor. So going right back to the Little Ninjas classes, I started with Lee, and I'm still here with Lee now, and he's been a major part of my journey as well. But yeah, we're running the school together. So he does a lot of the stuff behind the scenes while I'm taking the reins at the gym and coaching all the time. So yeah, we start classes from like 4:30 in the afternoon, so when the kids finish school, and I'll run them right through till about 9 o'clock. But in that daytime, that's where I get to obviously train and do everything else that I need to do to be a professional athlete. So I balance it quite well, I think.
Absolutely. Now, you once said that nobody's ever going to give you anything on a plate. You have to go out there and take what's yours and be willing to outwork absolutely everybody. That kind of was referenced when we talk about if you want to beat me, you got to beat me.
Yeah.
What are some of the sacrifices that have been associated with your career?
I think just the normal everyday sacrifice that if you want to be successful, you're not going to be going to parties, you're not going to be going out with your friends, you're going to miss special events, things like that, all for this end goal that you want to achieve. So that happened to me countless times, and it still does now. If you want to be the very best, you've got to be willing to do what others aren't prepared to do. So that's exactly what I try and do. And again, another tattoo reference, I got victory is reserved for those who are willing to pay its price. And this is one of the prices of being successful and being victorious. So absolutely willing to do it. But it's not just my sacrifices. That's the thing. I've had my parents. They've sacrificed so much for me to be in the position that I'm at now. My mum used to work 2 jobs. She'd finish work and then come straight home and pick me up. We'd have like a dinner from the microwave so I could eat it in the car on the way to the gym. I wouldn't have time to do any of these normal things that a kid would do. And they just, both of them worked so hard, always put me before any of their interests. We didn't go on many family holidays, things like that. There was so many sacrifices from them. Literally everything they gave for me to be where I am now. So it's my job to sacrifice as well and repay them for everything that they've done.
Talking about your family, your mom unfortunately passed away last year.
Yeah.
I was hoping if you could talk about how that's affected you and how that remainder of the last year had gone.
Well, when we found out about her illness, it was absolutely heartbreaking and shocking. It was during COVID as well, which made things even harder because like trying to get, in and out of the hospital even just to see her when it had happened was just so bad. Very, very dark days for me and my dad. We were always so close, our family. We had such a tight knit family, and it just really, really shocked us and left us heartbroken, me and Dad. But we did our best. We did our best for her. She was so strong, so strong, battling the illness that she did for that long as well. I mean, it was a good 2 years before she passed from when she was first diagnosed with her illness. And the complications of it, because she had a stroke as well. So she was in a wheelchair. We were having to push her around and look after her. She couldn't do anything for herself. So it was just a horrible thing to see your mom have to go through that. But at the same time, her strength is what I carry now. That strength that I saw her with when she was battling that illness, I take that with me now every single day. So when I go into a fight with somebody, it's nothing. If my mom can get through what she got through in 2 years, I can't make it through 9 minutes fighting some guy. I'd fight anybody because of that. It's that strength, that warrior spirit that my mom had and that my dad has and that we all have as the Everills. And that's what I want to continue to do.
Yeah.
And make her proud.
Talk about those 9 minutes. Let's get into this fight week here. Great
Yes.
Combat 39.
Yes.
You've got a hell of an opponent in front of you. What are some of your big takeaways from him?
Well, Raul Bomic, he seems to be a very good traditional martial artist. I've seen he's a Shotokan karate guy, and he's also had a bit of a mix with some Muay Thai in there and some boxing. So he seems like a really good opponent, and I look forward to testing my skills against him as I always do.
Do you envision how this fight's going to end?
Yeah, I'm always, playing out situations in my head. What if this happens? What if he does this? And, I've definitely got a good game plan. But I think he's going to have a real hard time just dealing with my speed, my timing, my accuracy, and my movement. I think that's one thing that I bring to the table that a lot of these guys just don't have that I have. I have this insane way of being able to move, being able to navigate my way in and out of trouble. So I think that will cause some problems for him. But I'm ready for any situation.
One of the bigger storylines of this week with you is obviously your relationship with Raymond Daniels. You are considered to be obviously the greatest guy since him, and you have such a close relationship with him. What was your first impression of Raymond?
Oh, Raymond was just an instant hero of mine because I'd actually heard things about Ray before I'd met him, and it was my instructor Lee. Actually, I remember it was the Irish Open. I think it must have been like 2008 or something. And Lee had said to me about Ray being there and that he was in his weight division. So he was like, "Oh, make sure you check this guy out, Raymond Daniels. He's pretty good. He's from the States." So then I remember me and my mom and my dad like trying to find out where he was fighting and stuff on the areas, and we went over, we watched him, and he lived up to it. He was absolutely incredible. That was probably like prime Raymond. And then he's so great with the kids as well, because I was only about 10 or 11 years old then, and he really made a big fuss of me and took care of me, and we took photos together and stuff, and he remembered me over the years as well, because I would always go to his seminars and try and whenever he was in England or Ireland or somewhere like that, I would always go over to do his seminars so I could learn from him. And obviously kept showing up, kept getting better each time, and he saw that I had some potential, and we just sort of developed a relationship from there as well. And then later on, we actually fought once in one of the Irish Open events, and I was winning all of the junior divisions, which is like 16 to 18. Like I was winning those consistently, no problem. So when I was 16, I decided to go up into the adult division to do the open weight, the grand champion. And I had a look on the draw sheet, and if I won my first match, my second match would be against Ray.
Raymond.
And my dad looked at me, and I looked at my dad, and we were both like, wow. And my dad was like, no, you don't need to do it. I was weighing like 57 kg at the time. Raymond was in the 90s. But I wanted that experience. I really wanted that experience, And my dad said, okay. He sort of gave in, because I kept saying to him, I was like, come on, I got one fight and I can fight the greatest of all time. And that's exactly what happened. He let me do it. But unfortunately for me, it ended pretty badly, because with that weight and that size difference, I remember it being a clash. I went forward to blitz Ray. He sort of moved in at the same time. We clashed. And I came off obviously a lot worse, and I ended up getting a concussion and knocked out.
Oh no!
Yeah, I ended up getting knocked out, and then and it looked bad as well. It looked a lot worse than it was actually. Sure. But I was out for quite some time, and then I had to go to the hospital and everything. And and Ray was obviously so apologetic, because
he was like, dude, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we were friends anyway, but then obviously me being a lot younger and a lot lighter than him at the time as well, he felt really bad and stuff. But then we got obviously we saw each other later on when I got back from the hospital, and everything was fine, and he was always checking up on me and messaging me and things like that. And then later on, I think must have been 2 years later, we passed each other in the corridor. It was at the Irish Open as well.
After and he knocked you out again.
Give me an extra one. No, so we were walking past each other, and he'd seen me fight that weekend as well, and he was just saying like, oh, amazing job and stuff. And then he said, if you want to talk, we can talk about maybe having you on the All-Stars, which was Raymond Daniels' team, and they are the best team ever. And he asked me to be on the team there and then, and I was like, yeah, definitely. Of course, I'd be willing to do it, you know. So I then joined the All-Stars, joined forces with him and Jack Felton, Robbie Lavoie, those guys who I was looking up to since I was a kid. And then I've been an All-Star ever since, and just traveling around with them, doing different tournaments around the world, around the globe, and
wow.
It's been amazing. Yeah.
And it's almost a full circle moment because obviously Raymond's competing on this card.
Yeah.
You can fight alongside him. What does that mean to you?
Oh, it's amazing. You know, just to think like where I started from. There's some pictures actually of me when I was a kid, like really young with Ray, and then look at us now, where we've come from. And it's like I always dreamed of being a professional as well in the martial arts. I always wanted to be a professional martial artist, and here I am. I've been watching Ray dominate it for so long, and for me to be with him at this stage now and actually sharing a card with him as well, it really is incredible. It makes me proud to think of, you know, how far we've come.
And definitely a potential passing of the guard. When we think about what you want to accomplish this fight week, and with Karate Combat as a promotion, what are your goals here following this fight Saturday night?
Well, my goal is to dominate everything. You know, whatever I do, whatever I put my mind to, then I want to be the best in it. So, you know, I'm not here just to take part and be on the roster. Like, I want to go and win the belt. I want to be a Karate Combat World Champion, and I fully believe that I will do.
I love it. Title shot potential in the future. Ben the May Davis here once more with Elijah Everill. Can't wait to see you perform, sir. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much, mate.
Thanks for watching. I'm Layla, and if you liked what you just saw, make sure you subscribe.